Let's see. Hi guys, welcome. We're waiting for a few more people to join. I see that they're having some trouble connecting. Give me one moment. Oops, there we go. Okay, perfect. So for the moment, I'm just gonna mute everyone real quick so we can introduce Manon, our lovely guest speaker, and then she will roll right into her presentation. I have the little group chat open on the side, so we're going to try and keep everyone muted just so it's really easy to hear Manon, just so the sound doesn't get distorted. But if you do have a question, just throw it into that chat or raise your hand. There is a little raise hand button, and we'll try and get it answered. Otherwise, we'll hang out at the end and you could ask the question then. But otherwise, thank you for joining us, guys. Today, we are talking with Manon Wiese from Free Our Seas and Beyond. Free Our Seas is an organization that started in 2017 to raise awareness of how plastic pollution affects our local beaches. They took on a really cool, new, unique approach, which is Artivism, using art to stimulate a conversation about pollution, something kind of bleak, and making it really beautiful and fun. So one of the founders, Manon Wiese, is going to talk to us today a little bit about Free Our Seas and Beyond and about plastic pollution. So I'm going to hand things over to her, and let me make sure I have you unmute. There we go. So you should be all set, Manon. Oops, I think you're still muted.
I'm on mute. Did you get
Perfect. You're all set.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Manon Wiese. I'm one of the co-founders of Free Our Seas and Beyond. We are an organization that creates art, hosts events, and has a youth council in hopes of bringing education about the plastic pollution that's happening to our oceans and our beaches. I've created, let me share my thing here with you guys. My little presentation here. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me show you here. Hold on. Get it by the slide. Why isn't it? I apologize. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get this going. Okay. My internet is unstable. Oh, great. Give me 1 second. Well, anyways, here it is. We are a nonprofit organization that creates artwork and hosts events. So I'm going to come here. Our mission here is to, we harness the power of art, the youth and the community to connect and create change collectively for the good of our planet. Our idea, I need to move this here. Let's see. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, I'm just getting used to this computer. Give me 1 second. Okay. So, I apologize, my computer is very slow here at the office. So anyways, give me 1 second. So anyways, we create art. I'm trying to pull this up for you guys right now. I apologize. We create art with marine debris that we find in our beaches. I walk the beach almost every day and find different marine debris. I find stuff that is different than what you normally think. I don't just find plastic water bottles and plastic bags and all the things that people talk about. I also find stuff that is, like powder, these things. We have powder that we find. I find other things that are called sachets that are eaten by animals. Let me see if I can get my share screen up again so we can share the right stuff. Here we go. Okay. I apologize again. I'm trying to fix this. So, apologize. Let me see. Let me start from the beginning. Taylor, I'm having a really hard time with my computer. I'm sorry, everyone. It's
That's
just
totally
freezing.
fine. Here, give us 1 second. Manon's gonna work on her internet, make sure that everything is working out over there. Keep trying to load your screen, that's totally fine. And if anyone has any questions, they could ask that right now. If anyone has been to the MEEC before, I know some of you have, I recognize a few of your names. You've been to the MEEC before and you've seen some of our really, really cool statues out front. The most popular one is definitely going to be that flip-flop grouper. So that is definitely the first statue that we got here at the MEEC from Free RCs. They collected a ton of garbage, flip-flops, plastic off of those beaches and built this amazing grouper sculpture. So it combines upcycling those plastics that are really, really hard to sort of get rid of. If any of you guys have been on the beach and lost a flip-flop, I've done that many, many times before. It's the first thing that goes missing. I have lost so many things to the sea. Those plastic toys that you get when you are making sandcastles or when you have kids or are a kid trying to build those really, really cool things with those buckets and shovels. They are making up a giant wall out behind our facility right now. They are lost all the time, first thing to wash away. And since they are something that's usually kind of cheap, people don't mind, they just go out and buy more. But those are one of those things that you really have to be careful of when you are out on the beach. Manon, are you still having trouble?
I'm trying again, but that flip-flop grouper was created with over 200 flip-flops, over 200 straws, 5 fishing gloves, a pool hose, and 5-gallon buckets, and 4 flippers that were all found on our local Hollywood beach. It's been one of our most popular pieces because people can relate and they look at it and they are like, oh my God, how do they find these pieces on our beach? It's things that we use every day. I wear flip-flops every day. I would never think that I would find them floating into the ocean. And I have one here, actually, I wanted to show you, find them in the ocean. And here's one that I picked up the other day that has half a piece of it missing, and it looks like a sea creature probably ate it. And this is just a flip-flop that I saw float in the water right onto the beach. So it's not just, people think that litter is only coming from people who visit the beach. It's actually coming from all over the world, and it goes with the Gulf Stream and it travels with different water currents, and it just goes to different parts of the world. I find stuff from Japan. I find stuff from Europe. I find stuff from Haiti, the Dominican, Cuba, and all these things are all mostly single-use plastics or just regular plastics that people just dispose of. Let me try it again to see if I can get my thing up again. I apologize, everyone.
Manon, if you still can't share your screen for some reason, you could try sending it to me and I'll share mine. The internet's pretty good here. But while you figure that out, we do have one question from Cherie. How do you decide what to make? So when you find all that really cool garbage, you make these amazing sculptures. How do you decide what shape it will become?
Well, I decide usually when I'm walking and I'll find a piece on the beach and I'll be like, oh, I can create this with it. Or I'll talk to because my husband also creates the sculptures. So I'll get home and we'll talk about it and we'll try to come up with something that will educate the public. And we also like to incorporate other things, like we've used bike wheels in our artwork just to wrap rope and show people that you can make things out of your old bike wheel, and then we use rope from the ocean. So we hang those up. I'm going to try to pull it up right now again. I apologize, everyone. I was organized before this.
No, if any of you guys have gone through Zoom, I know that a lot of our schools have moved over to being completely virtual, and internet is definitely something that has been working against us in all those endeavors. If any of you guys have been to any of our previous lectures or even our live captain feedings, the internet doesn't seem to want to cooperate with our mission. Ooh, very good question. Let's see, we have a question from Paige. How far has the pollution and plastic showing up on our shores? As far as the pollution and plastic showing up on our shores, would you suggest switching to alternatives that are biodegradable? or completely avoiding those products? What are some accessible alternatives?
I try to tell people to switch to reusables. Even if it's a plastic water bottle, not one that you buy from Nestle or something like that, but one that you actually get to reuse all the time, that's fine as well. But I encourage more of using like a reusable cup. I have this one. I love my Perani cup. It keeps my coffee hot and keeps my drink cold. You have your reusable bottle. I also have my case of reusable utensils, which I will bring with me in my purse everywhere I go, and I'll use this. I also encourage people, in lieu of plastic straws, to use either metal straws or bamboo straws. And they all really work great. There's a cleaner that you can use, because people get, oh, they get dirty, but there's actually a cleaner, and mine are always clean. And I also, beeswax wrap, instead of using saran wrap, is an option you can use. It's called bees wrap, and it works better than saran wrap. It really does, and you can just wash it and reuse it over and over again. And then with sandwiches, I know a lot of kids, when they were going to school, this is also a great alternative. It's the wrap. So, and Carly, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I want to share my slide. I think I got it going here.
Beautiful. If not, I have your website up, and I could share my screen, or you could send me the PowerPoint and I'll share my screen. Ooh, very
Okay.
good question.
Let me forward it to you right now.
Beautiful.
What's your question?
Paige has some really cool questions. So for a large majority of people in the US, they're unaware of these options, and many chain stores don't offer reusables. How can we change that?
How can we change that? Well, I think if you, well, what stores are not, what I think is if we encourage stores not to continue using packaging. Like the other day when I went to go get a watermelon, and it was packed in plastic wrap and then again in a plastic bag. And that to me didn't make sense. And maybe if you speak to your grocer or the person who manages the fruit department, and encourage them to not sell these kind of fruits anymore. Or you can visit your local farmer's market. There's other stores like Aldi, or even sometimes Trader Joe's has things that you can get also. Oh, she's doing this share. Taylor, did you pull it up? Oh, there it is. Okay. So let me see if I can share this with everyone.
There we go. Yeah, I got it onto my screen. So if you just want to talk through it, I'll move through it for you.
Okay, you got my email?
Yes.
Okay, so it's over here. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get this out. Oh, I apologize, everyone. This is not, okay. Okay, here we go. All right, so Free RCs, as you know, we're a nonprofit. Thank you for being patient, everyone. This is my first time doing a Zoom. Okay, so go to the next page, Taylor. We harness the power of art, youth, and community to connect, inspire, and create change collected for the greater good of the planet. That's our mission. You can go ahead. You can change the page. All right, so how do we engage with the community, inspire other people? We host several events. We've done 2 art festivals at the MEEC, which were a huge success, and we were able to bring many, many different other nonprofit environmental organizations to the festival, which encouraged others to learn about manta rays and sharks and just anything that you can, any environmental sea turtles. We've also co-hosted the March for the Ocean with Surf Rider of Broward County, which was a huge success. And we also sponsor other artists to create artwork to encourage people to respect the environment, like Ramirez, who created the Captain mural that's on the MEEC. It's one of our favorites. And then Carrie Bennett is also a muralist, chalk muralist, who was there at our first festival. You can change the page now, Taylor. Thank you. Our art is created with marine debris found on South Florida beaches and our ocean. It invites people to reflect on their automated everyday life decisions that they make about our oceans and our inhabitants in the ocean. So go ahead. All right, so we talked about our flip-flop grouper. That's Frank. He was made with the 200 flip-flops and straws. We also have a peace sign that's also made out of flip-flops. All these flip-flops were found on Hollywood Beach. We also have a lobster that was created with, oh, I think I have him here. See our lobster? He was created, he's with a bunch of straws and containers that we found on the beach. We also have the mahi mahi, which is beautiful mahi mahi, which was done with different colored containers. And then we also have the sun, which was created with, they're called sachets. It's something new that we found out about a couple of years ago. And what sachets are is it's like you go to the grocery store and you get a bag of lettuce, and inside is your dressing. A sachet, there's a little bag of dressing, there's a little bag of croutons, there's a little bag, those are considered sachets. They're single use, you use them once, you throw away the plastic. Well, in different countries and on boats, they use these things called vinegars to clean and disinfect their water, and Clorox. And these are the Clorox sachets. So these have been eaten by sea animals because they float in the seaweed. So so if they're eating it and we're eating them, that means we're eating plastic too. So we also have the manta ray, who for a while on the beaches when I'd walk, I'd find tons of single-use oil containers that people use to put oil in their cars or their boats. So Hope the manta ray is made out of that with a pool filter. And then our International Coastal Cleanup Day, we created this shark at the MEEC with the volunteers who came to clean the beach. So these are some of the pieces that we have. You can go to the next page. Some of these events we've held, the Rubber Jellyfish was the first movie, was premiered here at Halma Center. So we were excited to be able to host that for the first time in the US. And of course our festivals, and we have the March for the Ocean. We've held 2 events with Shelley that have been huge success, the guided meditation, and then the yoga night that we did in February. We've also co-hosted the cardboard races with the City of Hollywood. And right now our events are on hold, but we're okay. We're doing this webinar, so everything's working out. You can go to the next page. Thanks, Taylor. Our festival brought in over 4,000 people last year, and it's a huge event that's held on the beach. It was scheduled for this year, April 25th, but of course with the coronavirus, it was canceled, but we've made the best of it and we're moving on. We're gonna plan a bigger one next year. So, go next, sir. Our youth council, we started this year, which was a huge success. We've had some amazing teens who have participated. This year, our youth council created 3 different groups. They had the coral reefs, about sunscreen and how it pollutes our coral reefs. We had fast fashion, a group of wonderful teens who were teaching people about fast fashion and how our fashion affects the environment. And we also had another group who worked on Free Our Sharks, which they talked about shark finning and how it's decimating the shark population and everything. So the next, can you change that? We also host environmental workshops, art workshops. We went into the Humane Society of Broward County and actually created dogs and cats out of buoys. And it turned out to be a fantastic project. The kids loved it. And they got to bring home a pet without getting in trouble with their parents. So you can go to the next one. Like we talked about before, Ray Ramirez, he's created murals for us at the MEEC, and he's also done one at the beach. He's a huge part of our organization. He brings another kind of art into our group. We do the sculptures, he does the painting. So, next. March for the Ocean was partnered with the Surf Riders, City of Hollywood, and the National March for the Ocean organization. Over 1,000 people attended. It was a beautiful, beautiful event day. Everyone got along. We had a marching band. We walked to the MEEC, and we had a great time. Go ahead. Someone raised their hand.
Yeah, if you raised your hand, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, so we're also going to be working on a public art campaign, and our goal is to encourage people in a positive manner. Instead of badgering, hey, you should just get rid of that plastic water bottle, we want to encourage people, if they do this change, what effects they're creating. Like, they're protecting the environment, they encourage people around them to make the change. It just takes one thing to make you go plastic free. So get rid of the plastic water bottle, then you'll move on to the straw, and then you'll move to the next and the next, and you'll be aware of what you're doing. And so everybody else around you. So, okay.
Diego, did you have a question?
Okay, you want to go to the next slide? Is there a question?
Oh yeah, Diego. I don't think we could hear you, bud. Try typing it in the chat. I see that you're unmuted, but for some reason we still can't hear you. So try typing it in the chat and we'll bring it up in a second.
While plastics have a place in the world, using alternatives to single-use plastics makes a huge difference. So our age bracket, Christina is asking a question, our age bracket is 9th grade to seniors, till 12th grade. So people don't realize the implication. Oh, can you go back to the other one? Taylor, back one? Okay. Enough plastic is thrown around the earth 4 times, circles the earth 4 times. And I really, people are like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, I really believe it's true, because I find plastic every day all over our beaches. If you walk the streets, you can see it. I mean, it's just everywhere. So we can just see it on the streets. Of course, it's just everywhere on our planet. A lot of the animals are injured. There's over 1 million seabirds and 100,000 marine mammals are killed annually from plastics in our oceans. There's 90% of all trash floating on the ocean is plastic. The average American throws away approximately 185 plastic bags. 50% of the plastic we use, we just use once and throw away. So you can go to the next one, Taylor, please. The health. So if you guys see these toothbrushes on the right-hand side here, I have found all those toothbrushes on our beach. That is one of the things I find every single day are toothbrushes. I also find tons of pens. The one thing, like, nobody ever thinks about your ballpoint pen that you're using or your marker, where it eventually ends up at. And it ends up in the landfill. Sometimes it gets run off into the rivers, and then eventually ends up into our oceans. I also find tons of hairbrushes and combs, and this is for asthma. I'm not putting it in my mouth, but you know, it's for the asthma. And I also find curlers for your hair, the plastic ones. These are all crazy things I find. I also find Legos, because there was a truck boat on a boat, there was a container that fell 20 years ago, and the Legos are still landing up on our beaches. So what does Diego have? Once I remember reading about people making art with trash found at beaches, and is it actually what? Yes.
Yeah, it says it's actually pretty surprising how much trash there is. They hide in the algae and people never notice it.
It's true.
Very good point,
It's
Diego.
microplastics that hide and we don't see it. And there's a lot that you can't see. So, and another thing that we can't see is 90% of Americans ages 6 and older test positive for BPA, which is a plastic chemical. It's the bisphenol A is found in containers that store your food, your beverages such as baby bottles, canned food, and plastic water bottles. It's been linked to be fertility problems, heart disease, diabetes, and hormone-related cancers to BPA. So, and if you could see like the picture to the right on the bottom, that trash is found usually when it's really windy on southeast winds that hit our beaches because it pushes everything in. And we always find red Solo cups. If you guys can find an alternative to red Solo cups, do it because they're just everywhere on our beaches. And that's like disposable, single use. So, all right, next. The lifespan of a single-use cutlery. So I found all these one morning, and I also found the Chevron cap, which Chevron is one of the #1 companies who make the plastic pellets. So it was just kind of ironic that I found all these plastic forks and that Chevron cap that morning. But no one realizes like the lifespan of how a single-use plastic cutlery takes. It begins with the crude oil, which is shipped to a refinery and then turned into plastic pellets. The pellets are then shipped again, this time to be melted down into shape of a cutlery. The cutlery is shipped for a third time to the country or destination. Once arrived, it is put into trucks and driven across the country and then waits for a person to use a plastic cutlery. That person may use it for all of 15 minutes to be disposed of. It's not biodegradable and it ends up in our landfills and pollutes our oceans, waterways, and beaches. So if you think about it, it takes months to make this one fork and all the gas and the resources we use and the oil and everything to use to make it, and we only use it for maybe 15 minutes. So people don't really put that perspective on how plastic bottles are made or utensils are made. So that's why we try to encourage you guys to use the reusable bamboo ones or metal ones. See, we have the bamboo ones here that you can take with you. Okay, next. Okay, another one of my enemies on the beach is the balloons. I find balloons every day on the beach. It's either they look like jellyfish at the bottom left-hand side. You can see that one burst. And the other ones, one was found in the Bahamas, one was found here. While some balloons burst, others just gradually deflate, but they all fall back down to earth where they can wreak havoc on wildlife on land, sea, and air. And people don't realize they also get caught up in electric lines, cause power outages. And these are things that you need to take accountability when you're using balloons and when you're releasing them. People should not be releasing anything into the environment because what goes up must come down. So if you visit Balloons Below, they will, their website has alternatives for you, how you can celebrate birthdays, funerals, and other things. So go ahead. How you can be part of the solution. I showed you guys before the beeswax. So here, if you use a reusable water bottle in lieu of plastic water bottles, these were all found one morning on the beach. Or actually, some of them are used to people store their gasoline in as well. And then the bees wrap is also an alternative to saran wrap. And these bags are the best. If you can see the bags there, instead of using this at Publix, if you bring these mesh bags, they're perfect for produce and they hold a lot more. So you can go ahead, next page, please. Plastic-free July is coming up. So if you can consider changing one thing that week, it doesn't have to be every day you give up something, but maybe once a week, the 4 weeks that are in July, you choose one thing 1 week to give up, you'll see how easy it is to keep going. So like the coffee pods, the person who, John Sylvan, who developed the pods, he's regretting it because now it's polluting all the landfills, the oceans and the beaches and everything. So, you know, you can go to the next page. So here are some ways for you to break free from plastic. You can choose to reuse when it comes to shopping bags and bottled water. Cloth bags and metal or glass reusable bottles are available locally at great prices. Sometimes you can find them on discount at certain grocery stores like Aldi's or different places. Refuse single serving packaging. Excess packaging, straws, and others disposable plastics. Carry reusable utensils in your purse, backpack, or car to use at barbecues, potlucks, or takeout restaurants. You can reduce everyday plastics such as sandwich bags and juice cartons by replacing with reusable lunch bag or box. Bring your own mug to the coffee shop. I've done that, and they've put my coffee in my mug, or your smoothie shop or restaurants if they let you use them. We also contact Amazon's customer service. If you tell them that you want to reduce the packaging in your boxes, they will do that, and they'll put a note on your file, on your account, so you don't get the excessive packaging that you get from Amazon. You can go to the next page, please. Swap out shampoo bottles with shampoo bars. They really work great. Some people are a little leery because they look like soap, but it's the same thing. Reuse glass glass jars as storage containers. Buy boxes instead of bottles. Instead of buying the plastic jug of laundry detergent, you can switch to the cardboard box. It's the same exact thing. Use matches instead of disposable lighters. I find plastic lighters all over our beaches every day. Use a razor with replaceable blades instead of a disposable razor. And you can always participate in your local beach cleanup or community cleanup. You don't have to be at the beach to clean. Right now we're all in lockdown, but you can go to your neighborhood when you take a walk, bring a bag with you, and just pick up the trash. I know there's an issue going on right now with gloves and masks, and people are just being careless and disposing of them. I think that's going to be our next problem. I wish people would be more considerate to the environment and to the people around them regarding those. So, anybody have any questions? I saw, can I chat? Oh. So, oh, that's great. Paige was able to convince a lot of her family to switch from balloons to paper pom-poms. I like that. Oh, City of Hollywood actually bans balloons on our beach, but there's no one to enforce it. So it's kind of hard to, unless, you know, we're the balloon police and we walk around the beach and yell at people, well, we don't even have that authority. So it's just an issue. The signs are there. It depends on the people to be able to say no more balloons. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Oh,
Well, other people type theirs. Have you seen more engagement and more people actually making changes after they see your artwork and learn a little bit more about why it's there and like how it happened?
yeah, I have a lot of people are amazed that this stuff is found on our beaches. They can't believe it because most of the time people go to the beach when the beach is cleaned up and after the maintenance people are done and gone. So they don't really see what is landing on our beaches early in the morning. I mean, I get there at 6 in the morning and I can see it. So I think when people see the artwork, it helps them change. It even makes them think about how they're going to buy their flip-flops sometimes because they say, well, what can I do? And I'm like, well, you can maybe buy a biodegradable flip-flop or more environmentally friendly flip-flop because they do last forever. So.
We have a couple questions in the chat. How can these new policies be reinforced? Good question, Paige.
Right, it is a great question. We've tried, most beaches and areas have, do you mean by enforcing the balloon or, okay, so there's code enforcement who's on the beach, but he can only, he's busy fighting for the plastics that not at the restaurants and all this other stuff. So when our beaches are packed, you can't get anything done. So I think it's just more signage needs to be out there, making people more aware. Because right now there isn't any signage except for on the parks benches.
Last year, what did you do with the bikes you found? So I think that you were at our Free RC's event last year. We did find a couple bikes in the
Yeah.
sand and on the beach. Did you do any particular artwork with that?
We didn't do anything with them. They were really badly rusted, and you just couldn't do there. Some of it was breaking apart, and just to keep us safe, we just couldn't use them because of the rust.
And Elizabeth has a really good point. Maybe we need to increase the artwork all along Hollywood Beach. Do you think that people seeing it along the beaches would make them be more mindful?
Yeah, I think so. I think our sculpture was at Margaritaville for a while, and it encouraged people to, you know, reduce their plastic use while, you know, zipping out of their cocktail glass. But no, if we have more artwork and more signage, I think there has to be more signage. Our Hollywood Beach is supposed to be plastic free. No single-use plastics, no polystyrene, but this beaches still have it. I think better signage would help.
I have a question. There's a couple in the chat. Have you seen, since you're a South Florida native, have you seen a huge difference in the amount of stuff washing up on shore and the amount of garbage on our beaches over the years?
100%. When I was growing up, we would walk in tar because that's what we found was tar, and that was from the oil drilling out in the oceans. So we would step in tar, and that was our problem. Now when we walk on the beach, I consider my kids digging in the sand because they're going to hit plastic or they're going to hit something that is not sanitized, or because I have found needles, I have found blood vials, I have found many different things. So it is getting worse and worse as time goes. It was never this bad 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It just keeps getting worse.
Diego has a comment that his sister uses the coffee pods to help plant plants. She uses a little bit of coffee left in the pod to fertilize the plants and then plants the plants into those individual coffee pods, which is really cool. That's a creative way.
Yeah, that's a great creative way. And you know what? There's also reusable pods now, the coffee pods. So you could always switch to reusable pods.
And
switch.
those reusable pods are great. And Manon was talking about how you could use reusable coffee cups or bottles. A lot of places will give you a huge discount if you bring in your own cup. Starbucks will give you a couple quarters off. I went to a coffee shop that gave you a whole $1 off, and that's a free coffee right there.
Yep, exactly.
Ooh, has there been any research on edible silverware from Christina? Very good question.
I don't know that, honestly. I don't know how I feel about edible silverware yet, but I know they've been trying to make it out of not bamboo, it's the palm fronds. I think in the Philippines, they've been doing that in Thailand. They've been creating paper plates. Instead of paper, it's plant plates that you actually can eat and then grow. And they're made out of palm fronds, like the banana palm fronds and other palm trees, so.
Very cool. Yeah, Paige says there's also edible cutlery made out of food grade cereal. So I guess you could eat your cereal and then eat your spoon.
Yep.
Elizabeth says another solution is to make manufacturers responsible for recycling their own products. Do you think that is a good approach, Manon?
That's what it should be from the beginning, is these companies, these huge corporations like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestle, all of these corporations should be accountable for the products that they're producing, and they should be paying for the recycling. Why are we made responsible? And another crazy thing is I found out that Nestle gets their water for free, but while we all pay for the water and we pay for their recycling. So it's just, there's these huge corporations run everything. And that's why you need to go to your legislative and you need to push, say no more plastics, and just never back down. If you believe in something, just keep going. So.
We are starting to come to the close. Paige has a point that education is a really impactful way to make change. Do you see that a lot? Once people are educated and see your art and ask you questions, they are the ones to sort of make that change for themselves?
Yeah, I really, I think that's why our art, it brings it in a positive way. We want to encourage them, say, hey, look, this is what's happening to our beaches. This is what's happening to our oceans. If we all collectively make the change, we could have beautiful oceans again. I mean, I consider the dolphins, the manta rays, the sharks, all these animals who are swimming, the turtles who are swimming in this plastic. It's not their responsibility, it's their home. We should keep it clean for them. And that's how I feel. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a couple people commenting in the chat about how it does have to be sort of a big political change. We have to change our education and get the support of the corporations. Does anyone have any other questions? We'll hang out for another minute. Otherwise, we did record this. We will be posting it to our YouTube channel. And we do have more programs next week. But if Manon is happy to hang out for a few minutes, if you have any other questions, just throw them in the chat, and hopefully we will also see you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. I believe we are talking about turtle lighting that day, and how lighting pollution is affecting our turtle nesting beaches. I see a lot of thank yous in the chat, but not so many questions.
Thank you everyone for joining me. It was my first time, so a couple hiccups, but I appreciate you guys being patient.
Perfect. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I will start shutting this down then. But feel free to check us out on YouTube, and don't forget to follow Free RCs and Beyond. We have them on our Facebook and our Instagram. Go follow them to keep up with Manon and their mission.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.